Hello and welcome to the Bishopbriggs Academy Drama Department YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about how to approach a question about set design for the National 5 written paper. First of all, when you're thinking about your set design, you have to be aware of what kind of staging you're using to create your set. The options listed on the left here are proscenium arch, end on, theatre in the round, thrust, avenue and promenade. We will be talking about the pros and cons of each of these different types of staging in another video. Generally, I would recommend using end on or proscenium arch for your set designs for the exam. They're just a bit more straightforward in terms of the description of how to do it. Obviously, if you're feeling ambitious, go for your life, do something more interesting. But I would say end on and proscenium arch are quite good, sensible choices with lots of options for you to talk about. It's important that you know the areas of the stage, which are shown here in a nice diagram. It's really important you know where these are and you understand them, because it helps you when you're describing what your set design looks like for your examiner. When you're approaching your description of set, it's really important that you talk about it in as much detail as possible. And to do that, I always recommend that you talk about it in at least 3 ways. So the first thing you have to say, which is probably the most important, which is why I've put it in bold there, is say what the set item is. Say whether it's a table or a flat or a rostrum or a vending machine or whatever large object this is going to be that's part of your set. So state what it is. The next thing then is to go into even more detail so you can describe the colour of the item, the size of the item, the material it's made from. So is it wood or metal or grass? What have you made this item from? And then even more detail, you can talk about the quality of that item. So is it old or new? Is it damaged? Is it worn? Is it broken in parts? Is it new and shining and whatever high quality of manufacture? Talk about it in detail so the examiner can really visualize this object. It's also very important in your answer that you use the appropriate terminology. So we've got a list of different terms there. If you're unsure what any of those terms mean, refer to your vocabulary booklet, but you have to use some appropriate terminology to get the marks there. If you find you're not naturally using the terminology to describe how you've constructed your set, then it's even more important that you talk about where the objects are on stage. So you can talk about where their location is on stage using the areas of the stage, and that is vocabulary enough to show that you know what you're talking about, that you are in fact a drama student. And not just somebody having a go. You actually know what you're talking about and you can demonstrate your knowledge. So here's an example. I've given you 2 examples here showing how you can integrate this description into quite a short and snappy answer, really. So here we go. I would place a large brown wooden dining table centre stage. It is very marked from age and use. So in that, just 2 sentences, I've described the size, the colour, the material it's made from, the location it is on stage, and I've talked about the quality of that object too in 2 sentences. So you've given a lot of information without having to write very much. Here's a slightly longer answer for a bit more of an elaborate set description. So a row of flats runs upstage left to upstage right. They are grey and designed to look like stone. Upstage centre in the middle of the row is a door flat, which is painted to look like the door is made of steel. So again, we're using appropriate vocabulary because we're talking about flats, we're using areas of the stage, we're talking about the colour of the object, we're talking about how they decide to look like stone, and we also have the idea that it's also other parts are made to look like steel. So they're not made of steel, but they have been painted to look that way. So it's very clear what this set looks like and how that's been constructed. Okay, so again, I'll just repeat to myself, make sure you're describing it in detail, at least 3 pieces of information, and that must include appropriate terminology. Okay, thank you very much.